Just in case they ain't get the picture the first time around.
I see you, hater. My motivator. Y'all make me greater. Yeah.
I actually pulled it inside and started on the cutting buff, but now I think we're gonna let it sit up some more because I pulled it back out this morning. But you can see all this pollen and landing back on it. So we're gonna let it sit up some more and cure up a little bit more because I think we're gonna do this dash here, fiberglass this dash. Let me get in here and show you. You can see the dash got some cracks going on. So we're gonna fiberglass. I'm not sure what color. I don't know if you're gonna go with like a satin look or a gloss look, but I can at least start on it until you get back with me. So let me take it out and we'll go from there. All right, we got the dash out. Bring it in here. We'll check it out. First we're gonna clean it off because it's dusty. Let me get me a soapy rag and we'll clean this dash off. I got that shower curtain down now. That's for when I start applying the resin. It don't drip on the floor. Yeah, this thing here dusty. All right, I got it somewhat clean. Check that out. January, look like the 8th, 1989. Made in Canada. Now we gotta address the cracks. If the crack ain't sticking up too much above the surface, you're good to go. But if it's sticking up, you wanna knock it down. If you can't knock it down, you need to cut it out. Because if you don't, it's gonna come through, it's gonna show through the fleece. Like right here, we're just gonna knock all this, knock that edge down now. Alright, that's good on that side. Same way with this side. We're gonna take the grills out. We're not gonna fiberglass them in place. We're just gonna be able to. We're gonna have it so he'll be able to remove it if he want to. I gotta get this here up. I don't think none of the cracks sticking up too far, so we should be good on that. But let me get this up if I can. If I can, I'm gonna try to smooth it out. Well, I could take my sander and sand it. Let me go on and get this up, then I'll cut you back on. What you seen me doing with the DA, I was just going over these cracks, making sure I knock them down so they won't be sticking up. Now it's time to put some fleece on this here. Got some here. It's some pretty thin fleece here. Let me cut it out to size. If I can find us. I think that'll be good right there. The fleece is cut to size. Now it's time to glue it. We're gonna be using this Loctite. I'm gonna throw the fleece back halfway. Do one half at a time. And then I spray the fleece the same way. It don't take long for it to tack up. Might be good there. Make sure you got enough to go down the sides. Then you gotta make sure you got enough to go in these vents. So we're gonna tuck some off in there. It's good when you're working with some thin, stretchable fleece. Oh, I almost had a blooper. Man, I done messed up. Might gotta spray some more glue on this. I'll cut y'all back on once I get it. Well, once I get back on track. Back on track now. Once you do that half, you throw the fleece back over to the other side. Hopefully the stand don't fold on me this time. I think that ought to be good. Go ahead and tuck this on. Make sure you got enough. I'm just ain't having no luck, y'all. Let me just spread the stand like it should be. I don't know what I'm doing. Now we're gonna turn it over. We're gonna cut out what we ain't gonna use, but I'm gonna bring it all the way down to here though. Here's everything trimmed out. Now I'm gonna take the I'm gonna spray some more glue on it and overlap all that. Also trim this out. I'm gonna bring that on the back side as well. Hopefully don't nothing go wrong after those other two almost fumbles. I gotta cut that some more. We're just gonna take our glue and spray it. Should have some gloves on. Know what I'm thinking. My hand's gonna be a mess when I get done. We'll do the other side in a minute. Should be good. Gotta put a little bit more on that. We doing this here to keep the fleece from lifting up once we start laying the resin. If you don't overlap it, then you bring your resin down to the edge, it's gonna lift up if you don't put no CA glue on it. All right, let me finish up. Dash completely wrapped in fleece. You see this lip here, this edge? We don't want that to lift up. And if we put some resin on this here, it'll interact with the glue and it'll lift up. So we gotta put some CA glue down instead of this glue here. This here will just hold the fleece in place. Here goes some CA glue. Well, here go the hardener. We're gonna put a string along that lip. Hold it in place. I got this here wrapped in tape so I can push it down, because some of it might not be touching. The fleece might not be touching the dash, and you want it to touch sort of bond. But we're just gonna put the glue down first, so I can get it to come out. This side here ain't touching, so we're gonna have to make sure we push this side down. Okay. Oh, this here touching, so we just gonna spray this. Shouldn't go nowhere now. We're gonna have to press this down though. You gotta move fast. Don't take nothing but a couple of seconds. They're holding up on you. Shouldn't go nowhere now. I might just put some around the speaker opening. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm almost out of glue. Gotta put in another order. All off. I might need to call it a day. I've been messing up. Shouldn't go nowhere now. I'm gonna do this backside too, cause the lower dash sit right here, so I want it. I don't want no. I don't want the fleece to lift up, then to make my fitment off. I think that should be good. Now we'll spray that. Get this just in case. Might got to put a little bit more on that. Everything is secure. Ready for some resin. We're gonna be brushing it on with a chip brush. Here's the resin. The hardener somewhere. That's the sun cure hardener. UV. There you go. It mixes 10 drops to an ounce. I most definitely got to put my gloves on this one here. Guess we'll put about, let me see. Guess we'll start off with 8 ounces. I don't know how much I just put in there. Yeah. 8 ounces. That's 80 drops. Stir it on up. Then we'll take it over here. side. Right here where the speaker opening's at, we're not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna go up to it. Just trying to soak the fleece. You gotta be careful because the stand sitting back how it was. We don't need to fall over now. I'm gonna speed you up because I know you don't wanna watch this here. Here's the fleece soaked in resin. Yes, it's soaked good too. I'm not gonna do nothing else till tomorrow. I'll cut you back on then. Here's the following day. Resin done dried. Now we need to cut some fiberglass mat. You can use cloth or mat. We're gonna be using mat. That's what I got here. We're gonna be cutting some of this to size to go around the entire dash. Okay, we're gonna measure the biggest part of the dash. I think this gonna be it right here. We're gonna cut a piece off along that length there. Should be good right there. And we should be able to cut all up from this here. And we'll just start laying it to size. Could bring it on over some. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. Then I cut this one here. Didn't cut it long enough, but actually I don't know. Should be good. Here's my top section of the dash cut out. I got the sides cut out as well. I just ain't got them on there. And I just brought the side, overlapped this top part. Now we're gonna put the same resin we put on now when we put it on the fleece. And I'm just gonna put the resin on top of this fiberglass mat. I'm not gonna take it up or put it up under. It really depends on what type resin. If you got some good resin that'll soak your mat good, you can just spread it on top. You can get some rollers as well. But if you ain't got no rollers, you can use a chip brush. Just dab the chip brush. Let me mix this resin up. I'm gonna use the same cup. Let me get my gloves on and mix it up. Alright, we should be good to go. Need to find somewhere to put this so leave it right here. Take it over here to our dash. Just gonna start dabbing it on. See how the resin just soaked through the fiberglass mat like that. Once you get it covered, you can take your roller and roll it on. Here's all the fiberglass mat soaked in resin. I didn't even use the roller. I'm so used to using the chip brush. Once this dry, I'm gonna turn it over. I done did that part there, but I'm gonna turn it over and do this top section here. But I'm gonna wait till it dry. I'm gonna take it outside in the sun, it'll dry a lot faster. Especially if I would have used this sun care hardener. But it'll still dry fast once that sun hit this here. Here's the dash, all dried up. Now I take my DA, clean my edges up. Then I'm gonna make me some rondo. It's a brushable body filler. If you wanna know how I made it, look down in the description. It'll also be popping up. I'm gonna take it outside and sand it because I don't want all that dust in here, but it done got dark, but I'm gonna hurry up and do it. Here's the dash, sand it down. Well, it's not sand it all the way down, just knock the high edges down. Now I'm finna brush my rondo on. See, this is a lot better than trying to spread some body filler on. Brushing it on makes a big difference. It's gonna fill in all your little imperfections. It's gonna self-level itself. You can see it doing it now. Filling those pinholes and everything. Laying out smooth. But you still gonna have to do some sanding and filling, but this gonna take care of a lot of it here. The rondo applied. I'm gonna let this sit out overnight. In the morning I'll come back out. Here is after the rondo. This the day after. As you can see, it's raining on me. But I had flipped it over earlier. I just did this with my hand. With some just regular body filler. Now I'm gonna take the DA here. I got some 80 grit on it, and I'm gonna knock all this down with the DA. Knock down with the 80 grit. With the DA, like these darker areas there, those low spots. So I'm gonna take some body filler and wipe in all my low spots. I could just mix up some more rondo and brush that on. It might feel, I know it'll fill a lot of those shallow areas, but some of the areas pretty deep, so I'm just gonna wipe some filler in those areas. This is the filler I'll be using. Some Evercoat G-grip. Take it over here to a piece. I'm just gonna put a skim coat on it. started sprinkling on me. But you can see I got it coated, skim coat. We'll let this dry. Then we'll block this on down. Since the skim coat done dried, we'll take our drill and drill out all our holes for the mount. It's one on each side, 2 in each vent. And we'll also trim out our fleece so we can clean all this up to install our speaker grills back in place. And the back side, I gotta do some cutting as well. Just gonna take this razor blade and somewhat cut it where it need to be. Then I'll probably take this here, the die grinder, and sand it up back in place. Just need to open it up so I can see what I'm doing. Also, I'll go ahead and drill these holes out. Let me put this down. I can find the holes from the back side. See right here. This bit here, somewhat too big, but it'll work. You can see it's coming through the other side. Show you the top side. Drill this side hole out. Now I gotta trim all this here off. Now you can see what I done cut out. I still gotta trim this out. I used this here with the cutoff wheel. I didn't use this one here. I just took my time. I found me a starting point where I could see where I was cutting. Then I finished it on out. Now I gotta clean this up with some body filler. Then I'll be good to go. After I cut this side here out. Now I take some body filler, wipe some with my finger around the edge on both sides. I started cleaning this up by hand, but now I'm gonna take the DA. I got some 80 grit on it, and I'm just gonna knock this down. Not trying to get it too smooth. I just want to knock it down so I can start hand blocking it. Once everything knocked down, we're gonna take some old spray paint. I got some here laying around. We're gonna put a guide cut on there, so when we start hand blocking it, it'll show us all our low areas. We're just gonna lightly mist it on. Don't matter what color it is. This is some enamel blue. Look like it's satin or something. We'll let this dry, then we'll start getting our hand blocks and start hand blocking it. All right, y'all, now it's time to start hand blocking. This is what we all dread, but it gotta be done. I'll probably just use this smaller block, not this one here. But I could use this one here in this area. But that's 180. I'm gonna put some 80 grit on it. The block with 80 build a lot faster than that 180 because I'm gonna prime it anyway. I also been touching up some areas because I test fitted the grills in, and some of the areas wasn't fitting right, like right here. But you want to go in the X pattern. Let me put a piece of sandpaper on. We'll get started. Tell me a piece the size. Put that over there out the way. And we'll start this right here, removing the guide coat. If you still see guide coat, that means your area is low, so you gotta keep going. All right, let's stop it right there. You can see that area there, still somewhat low, also here. But I can bring it down some more because I'm not cutting into the fiberglass, because here go the extra fiberglass here. But I still can cut into it some, but not, you don't want to cut below it. And let's move over here, somewhat low right there, also here. Just gotta continue till everything flat. But it's looking good though, because it ain't too many low areas that's popping up that's deep. Everything else could be blocked off. We're blocked out pretty easy. Now you can see I done did all the flat areas, even on the side. But you can see the guide coat still here. I need contours. Only thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the sandpaper off the block. I probably just halving it. Then I'll go around and do all the contours by hand, not with the block. You can see guide coat still there. Just gotta bring it down some more. Same way up in here, I'm gonna do it by hand. Removing the guide coat. See, the guide coat, they're gonna do two things. It's gonna let you know where you ain't sanded at. Also gonna let you know all your low airs. I finished up sanding. Now I'm going back, filling all my imperfections. The top side good, it's just this right here I found, which you ain't gonna never see it anyway. But it ain't gonna take much to fill them. I'll show you the top side once I finish up with this here. I'm just using this rondo glaze and putty. I think this is the last one here. You can see. Let's flip it over. Once that dry, I'll sand that down. Then we should be good to go. Remove the primer. Everything turned out pretty good. We'll let that dry, we'll sand it down, then we'll be shooting some primer on it. Finna get ready to shoot my primer now. I probably put 2 to 3 coats on this here because I will be blocking it. Might wet sand it. Let's go ahead and mix up that primer. Here's 3 coats of the high build primer. Now you can see a lot of the pinholes. I'll go back and fill those once it's dry. I might do it tomorrow or later on today. Fill all the pinholes. It's not very many. film right here. And I didn't prime the vents because they already gray and they going back gray. But I'm gonna put a plastic adhesion promoter on those once I paint the rest of the dash. Now we'll wipe the glaze and putty. The primer done dried. Enough so I can wipe this glaze and put it on there on all these pinholes. Here's all my pinholes filled with the 1-part glaze and putty. I probably don't start sanding on it till in the morning. Let this primer dry on up. The glaze and putty dry. This the following day. I forgot to put some guide coat on it. I'm gonna use this can of spray paint. I'm just gonna lightly mist it on. You can use any color, it don't really matter. But I prefer to use a flat. It's easy to come off than like a gloss or a satin. I think this is satin here though. But it ain't no big deal. Alright, we'll let this dry and then we'll start wet sanding. Now it's time to start sanding for our final sand. This here we're gonna be using a maroon Scotch Brite to sand these pieces here. So all you gotta do is scuff it up. Put this dash. We got us some water, soap and water. We got 2 different blocks. We got a rigid block and a flex block. We're gonna be using this rigid block on the flat areas. And that flex block where it contours at. Only thing we need to do is remove the guide coat going in the X pattern. Let me get my rag. It's not gonna take much because it's pretty much flat anyway. But if you still see guide coat, that means you need to come down, and I still can see those 80 grit scratches before I primed it. But it's not gonna take much to bring it on down flat. See, just a little bit more would be good. That's all you gotta do. We're gonna be doing that on the whole dash pad. Let's wipe it off, see what we got. Now you can see I stayed away from the contours, the edges. I'm gonna do all that by hand because you don't want to square these edges off. But you can see right here where I started cutting down below the primer. Those were high areas. If I would have never blocked it, that would have been high. Now what I do, the same sandpaper. I just use one side of it. But this same sandpaper here keeps from getting a fresh sheet. I just tear it in half. Then I start doing my contours. It's pretty simple, especially wet sanding. If this was the body filler, it's more effort. You gotta put in more effort sanding body filler, but the wet sanding, it'd be pretty much smooth already. Once you get to this point, you're just knocking it on down. Finished up sanding the dash. I took it outside. I'm letting it dry up now. While it's drying up, I work on these here. Maroon Scotch Brite. Only thing you're doing is just going across the surface, scuffing it up. You want to get a paint some to bond too. Ready to move on to the next step. The next step is putting a text on here to give it that original look. And this is what we're gonna be using. This truck bed liner coating. I got black this time. I've been using clear, but they didn't have no more clear, so guess I gotta use this black. You just wanna mist it on. You don't wanna try to put it on out heavy because sometimes it might come out in a stream. You'll put too much on it in one spot, so this is the way I do it. I just mist it on like that. You don't want to stop with it. And when the can start getting low, you want to go ahead and put it down because the stream start coming out crazy. Here's the bed liner, still flashing off. Now we'll spray the base coat on it. It's gonna be a gray. We'll also spray these. I'm gonna put a plastic adhesion promoter on these first. Here is the gray. It got a little metallic in it. Now it's time to spray the flat clear. It's gonna give it some protection. Also, it's gonna flatten it out a little bit more. This more like a matte right here. Here's the dash. It's been a couple of days since I finished it. I just been letting it sit up. I'm gonna bring the car back in now and finish cutting and buffing it. Cause I had started to cut and buff it, then the owner decided he wanted the dash done, so I pulled it back out and let it harden up a little bit more. But once I finish the car, I install the dash and give you another look at it. But I'm gonna go get the vents now and put the vents in, show you how they look. I know I said vents, I meant speaker grills. Y'all probably knew what I was talking about anyway. But here they go. A lot of times I do it where you can't remove the vent, but I decided just to do it so you can remove the vent. I change it up every time I do a dash. I might change up things. Somebody really landed on it.
Stop. Right from the bottom to the top, from the